Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Happy Boy. I'm a Mrs. B. Thank you so much for subscribing, for liking, for sharing, and for watching my content. I really appreciate it. If you are new to my channel or if you are coming across this face for the first time, please be sure to subscribe and become part of the family. So yeah, today, as you would have seen from the title of this video, I'm going to talk about my experience with breastfeeding, or when it comes to breastfeeding, and I am just also going to mention a few things that I think work when it comes to breastfeeding. A disclaimer: I am not a breastfeeding expert or a lactation professional. I am just going to purely speak about my experience and the things that I do that generate me milk. And I say things that I do that generate me milk. You could be doing the same thing and it still does not generate milk for you, but for me these work perfectly fine and I have been enjoying it. So the things that I'm also going to mention are things that make me actually enjoy breastfeeding. I really do. And also it actually helps with bonding with the baby and things like that. So yeah, for those that don't breastfeed, I'm sure they also have their own way of feeding, sort of bonding with their babies, of which I wouldn't know because I only breastfeed, you know what I mean. So yeah, but before I get straight to the 6 things that I have written down, I want to mention that personally I never really had issues with milk, you know what I mean. I never really had an issue with not having milk or having little milk, of which at some point my milk went down. My milk supply actually went down a bit, but it just picked up at some point, and now it's just a whole lot of milk. Because even before baby was born, I actually had a lot of milk, I actually saw milk coming out. It would leak at some point, it wasn't bad though, but when I would press, I would actually even get milk. So when baby was born, I had so much milk and baby could latch and milk just came out. It's something that I also mentioned in the previous video, that I wasn't sure whether milk was coming out or not, but at the same time I could tell that baby is full. She's fed and she's full. So yeah, let's get straight to the things that I want to mention. So number one, the one thing that I have realized when it comes to breastfeeding is how baby latches is very important. So I at first didn't really have, my nipples did not break, but at the same time they were very painful. My nipples were sore, so only to find out that baby wasn't latching well. Today I have tortoise, so the name is Toti, is my baby's baby. So what happened is that I would just put baby like this, and just expect her to latch, and she would definitely latch, but at some point she would pull my nipple, like she would latch, and just when she was latching, she would just latch and pull it. So when I went to the clinic that we go to, they actually told me, when you are breastfeeding, I don't really remember exactly what they said, and what I'm gonna say here is not exactly what they said, but I just remembered that one thing that worked for me. At some point I had to hold the nipple a specific way, I don't remember it, and then from there, when baby latches, I had to push baby up, so that she doesn't get to pull the nipple, but she has to kind of like, the head will be there, and then she latches and start feeding. So that way it avoided a whole lot of like breaking of my nipples, of which I was using a nipple cream when I went to the clinic. And then they told me, because my nipples would be sore before we went to the clinic, and then the nurse was like, okay, nipple cream is not bad, but at the same time she wouldn't recommend that I use a nipple cream. Why? Because when I use the nipple cream, so after baby feeds, I would put the nipple cream, put on my bra, and what would then happen is that nipple cream would keep the place or the nipple moist, you know what I mean. So that nipple or that part wouldn't dry, so it wouldn't heal, you know what I mean. So I stopped using the nipple cream, and from there, after I've learned to like push baby when she latches, I never had issues anymore with nipples and being sore and things like that. So that's the first thing. Latching is very important, if I have to put it that way. Latching, the way baby latches can make or break your nipples. It could be different for other people, but after I have learned how baby should latch, I never had an issue with sore nipples and things like that. The second thing that works for me is drinking a lot of tea. So at first in the hospital, after giving birth, they gave me this nursing tea. Drank that. Obviously, like I said, I never really struggled with milk. I drank that tea. It would like my boobs would like get full. At some point I stopped drinking that tea, but also when I was drinking that nursing tea, I wasn't only drinking that, I was also drinking rooibos tea. I like it with a bit of sugar and milk. Yeah, I can't have tea without milk. I don't prefer it, not that I can't, I just don't prefer it. So I would also supplement it with that. So I had that for some time, and I wouldn't just have 1 or 2 cups a day. I would have maybe a minimum of 3, 4, because I was very obsessed. And also the fact that I actually wanted to only breastfeed at that moment, of which I still do. Even now I'm only still breastfeeding. I wanted to have so much milk, and it turns out that it worked for me. So I would have tea often. I still do. Sometimes I go to 8 cups a day, but I think now it's no longer a matter of breastfeeding. I'm just addicted to tea now. I love tea. So tea for me works. So you can check for nursing tea or something like that. It worked for me, and then I stopped drinking the nursing tea. After it got finished, I never replaced it. I just continued to drink rooibos with a little bit of sugar and milk, fresh milk. And from there I was like, I don't like rooibos anymore. And then I started drinking 5 roses with sugar and milk. So yeah, I drink a lot of tea, and I realized that tea actually helps me have milk or more milk, because if I don't drink tea, let's say I wake up and just maybe have 2 cups or 3 cups a day, I realize that my milk supply goes down, like low. So I am confident to say that tea really gives me milk, because when I drink tea, I have a lot of milk. When I happen to not drink tea or much tea on that day, I don't have milk. So yeah, it works wonders for me. Number 3, I eat often. I don't know if I eat a lot or I just eat often, but I do know that I eat often. So I eat, like I snack, I drink. So I would like to also add, sorry, with the second point of drinking drinking tea, you can also drink other things, like water is very important. And if you also like juice, you can also drink juice, because you need to be hydrated at all times. So with this one, the eating much, I eat often because breastfeeding makes me dizzy. Or I don't know, is it because maybe my baby feeds a lot or what? And because I do not mix feed, I only do breast, so that then result in her feeding a lot and often, because also breast milk is not as thick as formula, so it digests fast in the stomach. So I am hungry often, and if I do not eat much or eat often, I actually get dizzy. So I realize when I eat often, I have milk and I am not dizzy. I am not seeing, things. Okay, I'm joking about the seeing things. I don't see things, but when I do not eat, I become dizzy. It's like I'm weak, So please, I eat. You should also eat if you are breastfeeding. It's also good for you and the baby. You need the nutrients. The 4th thing, I take multivitamins. So the doctor or the gynecologist that I used at that time, he actually suggested that I take multivitamins. So when I was pregnant, I was actually using Preg Omega Plus. So he said that one you can continue with it, there is no issues. However, because they're expensive, those pills are expensive, he said you can just go for any other multivitamins. And then he suggested some multivitamins. Important, because at times you don't really get to eat all the necessary foods that have the nutrients that you need on a daily basis. So with multivitamins, then they come in handy. So please also consult your doctor, or consult the clinic, or consult your midwife when you want to take these multivitamins to supplement for the milk. And another thing that I also do, or that I did, actually this one I actually did before. Now I don't really do it because it's not really useful. It's expressing milk. the more you express and the more you feed, is the more the milk gets generated. You know what I mean? Or at least for me, when I express and feed, is the more I get more milk. And I do not take for granted that it could be that I just have a lot of milk, general or natural, you know what I mean? But at the same time, when I express and when I feed more, I actually get to have more milk. So I used to express a lot before and store the milk. I had the bags, I still have the bags, and also have containers that I would just, you know, write the date and just freeze the milk. So expressing actually helped me a lot with more milk generating and things like that. So that is very important, or that works. So the last thing is number 6. One thing that I should put out there is that milk will make you uncomfortable. So, which then brings me to the last thing that I've written down, is buying breast pads. I know this to some people might feel like, but who wouldn't buy breast pads when they're breastfeeding? Some things you don't really think about until you realize, actually, because sometimes you can be in an uncomfortable situation but you don't know a way out, you know what I mean? So you can buy breast pads. I personally prefer the disposable ones because the way they get full, I don't see myself washing all the time. So you can also get ones that you wash and reuse. I personally prefer ones that I just use and get rid of. So I get mine at Clicks. I just forgot the name. I'm gonna try see if I can put a picture on there. They are perfect for me. They are amazing and they help so much. So yeah, those are the 6 things that I do and that make me enjoy breastfeeding. Thank you so much for watching this video. Let's meet again in the next video.